Good morning, everyone. My name is Caitlin, and I am the lead install specialist here at Wholesale Payments. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to use the MX Merchant. Keep in mind that the MX Merchant can also be referred to as the MX Gateway. So if you hear me using those terms interchangeably throughout this entire broadcast, just know that we are talking about the same thing. So let's go ahead and get started and jump into it. So let's start first and foremost by what exactly is the MX Merchant or the MX Gateway. So this is a free service that you can set your merchants up with, and essentially what you can do or what they can do with it is that they can log in and they can view their statements and see the deposits that are going into their account, and they can also possibly run transactions. We'll get more on that later as to the specifics in regards to running transactions. So whenever you sign them up, I highly recommend that every single merchant you go ahead and check this on the application. It's closer towards the bottom and it'll say MX Gateway. If you check that, remember it's a free service. So definitely there is nothing wrong with setting all of your merchants up with it, and it can be up to them whether they decide to use it or not. So once you check that, then it is up to one of our representatives, usually the deployment department, to set up those login credentials. We create their username and their password. And then from there, we usually send an email to the merchant's email that we have on file. This is the format that that email looks like. Go ahead and take the time now to look over that. If your merchant does not receive this email, please just call in to either our client service or our tech support line and ask them to resend this email, because it might, just because this is up to human error and human entry, sometimes things don't get sent out, but it's just a quick and easy fix. Just call in and we will resend this email to your merchant. If you see, we include the merchant ID right here at the subject line and also right here. And then we also have the link that they're going to click on to where they go to log into their account. We also include their username and their password right here. So if they receive this email, they would click on this link and it would actually take them to this website. If that link does not work, then you would just simply tell your merchant to type in mxmerchant.com and it will take them here as well. And of course, your sign in button is located right here in the top right corner. Go ahead and click that if you're following along with me. And keep in mind that I have a test dummy account that I'm going to be working on, but at this point, of course, your merchant would type in their username and password into these fields right here. And then of course they would click sign in. I do highly recommend that they click this if this is going to be the computer that they use all the time. Remember me on this computer. Now, whenever I click sign in, mine's going to look a little bit different from what your merchant's going to see. Let me explain to you exactly what they're going to see on their side. So we do have some additional security features. It's known as a two-factor authentication. So whenever they sign in, it's going to prompt them for a code. And remember, this is just a security feature. It is necessary just to add that level of security and make sure that whoever is signing into this account is exactly who they need to be. So they have two options as to how they want this code to be sent. They can either select the email, which is the one that we got from whenever the application was first submitted, or the phone number. Usually most merchants decide to do the email, so of course they would select that one. And then they would have a code sent to whatever they decided to send it to right there. They would then type in that code, and then they would be prompted to log in again. So they would be taken back to that login screen. And so then they would, of course, just click sign in again, and then they will get to exactly where I am right there. Keep in mind that the two-factor authentication can be changed if the email or the phone number is one that they don't want to use every single time to authenticate themselves. And I am about to show you that. First, let me explain to you what you see right now on my screen. This is a location selector. So essentially not all merchants are going to have this. This one is in the case if you have two merchants with two different businesses and they use the same login credentials for each one. This is actually how they can toggle between each one so that they can view the statements on each company that are tied with these login credentials. We have a couple on this one just to show you what that example will look like. And then of course we have our test demo one right here. So they would just simply select the location like so, and then they would click save, and that's how they can view that company's statements and their processing. I'm going to select the demos account right here and I'm going to click save. Now back to that two-factor authentication. Let's say that they want to change the email or the phone number. This little person icon located in the top right corner, you would just simply click here, and then you would click Edit by Current Team Member. Once you click that, you can actually edit the email and the phone number that two-factor authentication is sent to. Remember, ours did not do it because this is our test dummy account and we have it turned off for a reason. But in the case of your merchant, most likely it will ask them every time they log in. So if they need to change that, that's where they can go. And then of course you would just click Save to reflect those changes. If your merchant had more than one business, they don't have to log out and log back in every time to get to that first screen that had the location selector. You would simply go right here to current location and then click edit. And then you can actually switch between the locations right here. Let me go ahead and cancel out of this real quick. And so that is essentially this person icon right here. This is the purpose of that. Now what I would like to walk you through is how to view their statements. This is the main reason why most people usually decide to get signed up with MX Merchant. And keep in mind, in this dummy email right here, we actually include the steps because this is most likely what people are looking for whenever they want the MX Merchant. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through those steps, but on the actual website. So back to the website, we are going to go to this button right here that says Account. Go ahead and click on that now if you're following along with me. And then we're going to select Merchant Services. Once you click Merchant Services, it's going to pull up with this screen. And of course, we're going to flip over to Statements because that's what we're wanting to view. And here you go, you can view all of your monthly statements. Keep in mind, if this is a new merchant, they're probably not going to see anything here until after their first 30 days of processing with us. So just let them know this is where they're going to go whenever they receive that first statement. They will get a mailed statement sent to the location address or the business address, but this is where they can view them electronically. The next thing I would like to show you is where they can see their deposits, because I've seen a lot of times that is the second thing that a lot of merchants like about the MX Gateway or the MX Merchant app. Let's go ahead and go there now. You would go over here, excuse me, whenever you see reports, go ahead and click reports now if you're following along with me. And then you've got a couple different options. Keep in mind that this would be a great time to explain what all of those are. They can see all of their transactions. They can see the separate batches, chargebacks, expired cards, all the meat and potatoes of this software. But we're going to go to ACH funding. Whenever you click on ACH funding, this actually shows the deposits that are being submitted into each of their actual checking accounts. So as you can see with the test dummy account, we don't have a lot of test deposits being sent in, but of course they would have a lot more, and usually it's going to be every day for every badge. So this is where they're going to go to see how much they're going to get in their bank account every single day. A couple more things I would like to show you. Underneath reports, you will see apps. If you click apps for me, these are different apps that you can actually activate to improve the features of MX Merchant. Keep in mind that some of these are an additional fee. So of course, the one that we have activated right now is the MX Invoicing. A lot of times you're going to see a lot of merchants activating this one like we do. Whenever you activate MX Invoicing, then essentially these two options are going to pop up. If you have noticed, and if you're looking on your merchant's dashboard, most likely they are missing invoices and recurring right now. So as soon as you activate that, keep in mind it's an additional $14.95 a month, then these two options will pull up, and essentially that allows them to do invoicing and recurring payments through this, which we will eventually get to. You're more than welcome to look through all of these apps while I do a slow scroll on the screen. Usually the ones that I see most merchants decide to activate the most is the Invoice app, of course, which is $14.95 a month, and QuickBooks. If they have QuickBooks, then this is a good way to sync both of their reporting methods together, and it makes their reporting a lot easier. The QuickBooks sync, as you can see, is an additional $25 a month. All you would have to do is click the activate button, and then they would just merge their QuickBooks login credentials, and it's simple as that. So that's it with the apps. Now we're going to get to probably the main thing that most people are so curious about whenever it comes to the MX Merchant or the MX Gateway, and that is how to take payments. And I've saved the best for last. Right here at the very top of the screen, you will see the Quick Pay option. Go ahead and click that for me if you're following along. And this is essentially how you can take payments using the MX Gateway app. Keep in mind there are some drawbacks to this. First and foremost, and the biggest one, is that this does not reflect CDP or the cash discount program or the non-cash adjust, however you want to refer to that as. So if you were wanting someone to take payments virtually and they were on a CDP account, this is not the way to go. But if they were a traditional account, absolutely, I highly recommend this. Keep in mind there is a way to do CDP. It's known as MX Advantage, but I will tell you that in the times that I've personally seen it try to be enacted in the field, it has not gone successfully. If you want to go down that route, then I would recommend discussing it with your manager first, because there are definitely other options that are a lot easier if they want to take virtual payments and they are CDP. But again, this is a great option for if you're traditional and you want to do invoicing and you're okay with that additional $14.95 a month, as you can see grayed out in the background. So this is how you take your sale. You've got 3 drop downs right here. If you click sale, of course you can flip between sale and refund. Card, I only have one option. Some merchants have card and check. Keep in mind we're only going to do card because we do credit card processing, of course. And of course you have a couple different options right here. The 2 that you would most likely use is card not present and card present keyed, because that is exactly what we are doing. After that, then you would just type in the amount here, and then you would of course enter in the card number. Keep in mind, I am just doing something completely random, so it is not going to work at all. And then of course you would do your expiration. Let me make it look somewhat realistic. There we go. All right, after that, then you would just hit the charge button. As you can see, there is an advanced feature right here, and none of this on the bottom is required, but if this helps with their bookkeeping or their references, then your merchant is more than welcome to use this. For example, if this was a certain part number that they were purchasing, this, if you wanted to keep track of the name, if they followed an invoicing here instead of the actual invoices app, which is located right here, and of course all of this underneath. So definitely if they want to put something in here they can, but they are not required, only these right here. After that you would click charge, and it is simple as that. It would either say approved, or in my case it would let me know that the card number is invalid, and then from there it would ask if you would like a receipt. Usually a lot of times your main options are print, email, or text. Keep in mind, print in this case would be if I was hooked up to an actual printer. For example, I'm hooked up to the printer in my office. If I had decided to print a receipt, then of course it would come out on that piece of paper. So it's not going to be the same as printing on an actual physical terminal, but there is that option as well. And just like that, that is exactly how you run a transaction. If you have any other questions in regards to this, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Again, my name is Caitlin Baker. I'm the lead install specialist here. If you have any questions whatsoever, and what I do essentially is I help get your machines installed, and I give your merchants or you a brief walkthrough of how to use them. I usually also disclose special features and anything else that might be relevant for your merchant's business. If that's something that you would like to do, or if you have more questions about MX Merchant, this is where you can reach me. That is my phone number right here. This is my email. And of course, I also offer Calendly as well whenever you want to decide to schedule installs with me. If you have any questions about any of that information, you can definitely get with your manager as well, and they can direct you to me, or they could possibly answer them as well. But that sums up MX Merchant, also known as MX Gateway. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen into this, and I hope all of you have a great day. Bye-bye.